RG3 at Washington Redskins, Wilson at the Seahawks, the new quarterback at the 49ers, and Carolina. And they are actually running a spread offense in the NFL. So my hope is, and I'm sure Tim feels the same way, is to go play one of those systems where they let him play.
Tim Tebow's former coach at Florida says Tebow can run the spread offense, as you heard just a moment ago, in the NFL. So the question is, does Tebow belong in the same category as RG3 and Russell Wilson? For that, I'll ask Stephen A. Smith. Does he belong in the same category, my friend?
As who?
Tim Tebow, does he belong in the same category as RG3?
Answer the question.
And Russell Wilson? That was the question.
That's a question?
Yes. Yes.
That's disgraceful. That's just disgraceful. Tim Tebow in the same conversation as RG3 or Russell Wilson?
Yes, because they run the spread offense.
Stop. Listen. Let me be nice. It is a Thursday morning, and we want to be nice here. Because we definitely have profound respect for Urban Meyer. Let's, in the interest of full disclosure to our former colleague here at the network, he does love himself some Tim Tebow, who helped deliver him 2 national titles.
Mm-hmm. That's all? Just 2?
No, I'm saying he has a special level of affection and affinity for Tim Tebow. You'll and Lord knows, he loves him like a son. You'll never hear a negative word out of Urban Meyer's mouth about Tim Tebow, as you shouldn't. But you'll also be challenged to hear a realistic word out of Urban Meyer's mouth about Tim Tebow. Listen, there's a couple of things. First of all, we don't even know if Tim Tebow can play football anymore, considering the psychological damage that's been inflicted upon him by the New York Jets. So we got to make sure we get him in front of a psychologist to make sure he's all right.
I think he's
then there's the issue. Then there's the issue of even what Skip Bayless talking about. Now you know it's bad when Skip Bayless comes talking about your physique and saying you need to put in some work. I don't like the way you're looking, which is what Skip Bayless did.
Because
so now you got the
asked him
physique
to gain 10 or 15 pounds.
I feel you.
Okay.
I feel you. It's not his fault, but he looked how he looked. According to you, I wasn't judging the brother how he looked. He looked fine to me.
Yeah.
But you thought it was a little bit too much flab, okay? So
agree.
you got that issue. So you got the psychological issue, then you got the physical issue. Now we get to me, the throwing issue. There's just nothing to discuss there. I think the boy can't throw. Love him. Great kid, can't throw. Then, now you're sitting there after questioning his throwing ability, questioning his physique because he put on too much weight and obviously was slower, questioning whether he's psychologically damaged because of the way the Jets railroaded him. You're going to take all of that stuff, and now we're going to even put him in the same conversation in terms of athleticism equitable to an RG3 or a Russell Wilson? Blasphemy. Just pure, unadulterated blasphemy. This subject shouldn't even be broached. But I'm sure Skip is going to do it anyway, so go ahead.
Allow me to broach. Thank you very much. I think this show, at this point, is in desperate need of a little objectivity and a little perspective. Because I am here to tell you, to convince you, that RG3's success under Shanahan was a great thing for Tim Tebow. It gives us hope that Tim Tebow will get another job under a coach who says, wait a second, I'm seeing that this offense works at this level. Okay, so Stephen A., you yourself reported that Shanahan initially didn't love RG3. Is that right? Am I right about that?
Yes.
Yes, okay.
Yes.
So we have to now give Mike Shanahan a lot of credit for doing what, let's say, Rex Ryan wouldn't do this year. Mike Shanahan said from day one, I'm going to junk my pro-style offense, my Jay Cutler Denver offense, my John Elway offense. I'm going to run this pistol formation, which is akin to the ride and decide spread option, the read option that Tim Tebow ran in Denver for much of the year last year. Mike Shanahan said, I'm going to do what my new quarterback does best. RG3 out of the, what they call the pistol, with Alfred Morris just behind him to his right.
Well, what does that have to do with the price of tea in China?
It has to do with what happened to the Denver Broncos last year when Tim Tebow suddenly, shockingly, turned them into the #1 rush attack in all of pro football. Why did Tim Tebow work last year in Denver, Stephen A? Because people had to defend the right and decide. Is he going to give it to McGahee? Is he going to pull it back? It takes a very special ball handler to run that kind of offense. Tim Tebow didn't get enough credit for his ball handling skill, just the way RG3 isn't getting enough credit now for having the fewest turnovers of any quarterback in the league, running a high-risk, ride-and-decide offense. Am I going to give it to him? What are you waving your hand for now? What is this about? I don't get to finish?
I just want to ask you a question in the middle of your soliloquy there.
It's just starting.
Saying that? I know. Are you intimating that?
I'm not.
Tim Tebow can throw the football like RG3?
Nope. But I've said before that out of the spread option, Tim Tebow can be a very dangerous and effective passer, as we saw repeatedly last year when, by the way, I don't want to dwell on the statistics, he did throw 14 touchdown passes to only 6 interceptions. He did, as John Gruden told you recently, he gutted the number 1 defense, the Pittsburgh Steelers. Not just late, he did it in the second quarter with 4 completions of 20 yards or more. Why did that happen, Stephen A? He's not a great thrower of the football, but when you've got ride and decide going on and the defense gets on its heels, are they going to give it? Are they going to give it? And all of a sudden he steps back to pass. There are 3 receivers running wide open almost every play. And guess what? Even Tim Tebow, who, by the way, for Urban Meyer in his last college game, the Sugar Bowl, threw for 482 yards. Well, he could throw it well enough. He's not a great passer, but he has an above-average velocity arm. And when it's time, he can be reasonably accurate. He can be devastating in this offense. RG3, you know, the great stat they had on SportsCenter this morning was that RG3, throwing play-action passes, has completed 60%, which is far and away the most of any play-action passer in the league. Russell Wilson is third with like 40%. So it makes RG3 a much better. Do I think RG3 is a great thrower of the football? No, but he can be devastating out of the spread option, which Mike Shanahan figured out to his credit early on. Go ahead.
Are you saying that Tim Tebow could be just as effective as RG3 and
I'm saying
Wilson?
Tim Tebow can win football games better than about a third of the quarterbacks in this league. I never said he'd be a Pro Bowl quarterback. You can just win with Tim Tebow.
We brought up RG. Well, stop saying you never said he'd be a Pro Bowl quarterback, because nobody ever accused you of saying that. Stop repeating that. Nobody ever accused you of saying that about Tim Tebow.
I get accused of it all the
No,
time.
they did not. Nobody accused you of that. But let's stick to the subject at hand, because they brought up RG3 and Russell Wilson. So why the Russell Wilson RG3 comparison then? If you're saying that he can't measure up to what they continue to do, but you keep talking about what he could be, how effective he could be, I'm asking you, what's up? What's up? What you trying to say?
I got a question for you. Who has the number 1 rushing attack right now in pro football? Could it be RG3's Redskins? Why is that? The offense works at this level. Now, again, can the quarterback take the potential punishment? The durability factor is going to be a big one going forward with both Tim Tebow and RG3. But I think if they play smart football, that they can be devastating off the corner. Well, what happened when RG3 played against DeMarcus Ware or O.C. Umenyiora? They're on skates. They don't know. Are you going to give it or are you going to keep it? What are you going to do? Tebow did that. He's not quite as quick as RG3, but he's an underrated athlete. He can flat run with the football. He makes it hard on the defensive ends. And all of a sudden the safeties are sucking up to stop the run that you can't stop. And boom, he hits you with a big one, because Tim Tebow's a pretty good deep thrower. So the offense works. Somebody out there is going to be smart enough to say, you know what, Stephen A. Smith has no idea what he's talking about. I think I'm going to sign Tim Tebow and I'm going to go and run the spread option just like they are in Washington. It's a copycat league. This is a good thing for Tim Tebow's future going forward. Thank you very much.
Man, Tim Tebow's luck is so bad, somebody will sit there and pick him up to run the spread option and still find somebody better to run it.